Seriously, are you ready for this? We are about to enter what may be the biggest popcorn moment in history.
Deep in space lies an imperfect duplicate of the Earth known as the Bizarro World.
As the distinguished chairman said, there's no requirement that we have a vote. And so at this time, we will not be having a vote, and I'm very pleased.
I've always got another ingenious plan up my sleeve. You'll never catch the Legion of Doom.
Can we have you talk about the impeachment resolution?
It's not an impeachment resolution. This is a cover-up.
The White House has obstructed the work of a co-equal branch of government.
President Trump may want to shut down the government again because of impeachment, an impeachment inquiry.
It's the biggest facade, the biggest farce I've ever seen in my life.
We have a news alert from Washington.
Well, the House will now vote on Thursday on its impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
And yes, Nancy Pelosi is actually having the impeachment vote this Halloween.
House Democrats are getting ready to take their first floor vote about impeachment since launching the inquiry.
That word came from Speaker Nancy Pelosi in a letter to fellow Democrats.
This right here is the truth.
She's preparing a resolution that would formalize the process.
A sufficient number have arisen.
Really? Halloween?
The nays are 196. The previous question is ordered.
The question is on the adoption of the resolution. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say no. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
By the way, I want to be really clear. Tomorrow's vote is about process and process only.
Well, not the impeachment vote, but a lead-up vote.
No decisions have been made about impeachment, and that means I haven't made any decisions about.
Oh, that's interesting.
I haven't made any decisions.
You see, this is death by a million paper cuts.
As to whether to impeach the president. That decision has not been made. That decision has not been made. That's what the inquiry will.
Pelosi, Schiff, and the Democrats know they can't beat Trump in 2020, so they want to impeach him. But it would require the Rhino Republicans to go along with it, which they probably would if the Dems weren't so incompetent. Thus, they're left with one move. They will take a series of half steps towards impeachment, but never actually getting there in hopes that A, they can tip the polls in their favor, B, actually dig something up on Trump convincing enough to get the votes needed for a real impeachment, or C, frustrate Trump enough he resigns.
But I don't think he wants to be impeached. I think that's what this panic is about. And my gut tells me he'll leave office, he'll resign.
The land of make-believe.
Now that's a pretty big gamble. But given the Dems' commitment to the never-ending stream of unsubstantiated accusations, they've clearly gone the all-or-nothing, winner-takes-all route a long time ago.
2 years ago, I started need to impeach because it was clear.
We're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the motherfucker.
And the way we do that is we begin impeachment proceedings now.
Impeach 45! Impeach 45!
I think that the House will find him worthy of impeachment.
Donald Trump has violated his oath of office, betrayed this nation, and committed impeachable acts.
We have to impeach this president. He should be removed.
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
Obviously, something has the Democrats shitting rainbows. Maybe knowing Durham's now criminal investigation coupled with Horowitz's report means they're fucked.
I also think Durham probably frightens the deep state a lot more than even the FISA review, because the Durham investigation is the investigation that goes deepest into the Obama White House.
It was wide-ranging.
And the New York Times is reporting the Justice Department is reviewing these people inside the Mueller probe for potential crimes.
The Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation to find out how its own probe of Russian election interference began in 2016.
That means the Justice Department has to suspect or believe or claim it can prove the evidence of crimes or crimes were committed as part of this probe. So again, who committed the alleged crime here, if there was a crime?
Well, you really gotta hand it to the Democrats. They spied on candidate Trump, got caught, then kept spying on President Trump and got caught again, and apparently have, up until very recently, continued to spy on President Trump.
Willie, what's very ironic about this entire thing is that the same questions we're asking about this investigation are the very questions that the Durham investigation set out to answer about what became the Mueller investigation. We're talking about political bias. Is this being used as a tool from this administration to go after people who the president believes are against him, who are part of the deep state? We're also talking about a predicate. John Durham went out to see if the FBI had enough information, if the Justice Department had enough information to seek FISA warrants on people like Carter Page. And now we're asking those same questions. Is there enough information for this to go to a criminal investigation? So again, we're back in this same spot of having to ask a lot of questions about our Justice Department and investigators and whether or not they are free from bias.
Which explains why the Legion of Doom has been holding their secret meetings within their skiff, deep within the basement of the swamp.
Silent, one of us has devised a new and deadly scheme to align our infamous forces against the powers of good and defeat them, leaving us the rulers of the world.
While at the Hall of Justice,
it's all being done in the basement of the Capitol where no one in the country can see, based on an anonymous person that only Adam Schiff and his staff know who this guy is.
Later, at the Hall of Justice,
voting members of Congress are being denied access from being able to see what's happening behind these closed doors where they're trying to impeach the President of the United States with a one-sided set of rules.
We're going to go and see if we can get inside. So let's see if we can get in.
24 House Republicans entered the closed-door meeting and refused to leave.
After the Dems jumped the shark going forward with their nuclear option, aka impeachment, it looks like what Schiff thought was going to be a gotcha moment for Trump turned out to be disinformation leaked secondhand, aka the whistleblowers. Sources say the whistleblower is actually a wiretap, possibly over collection of electronic communications by someone with, let's say, access. But the Trump administration could also suspect the wiretap and troll the eavesdropper, leaving bait to see if the fish bites. And best part is,
they will be building a very powerful case against the president for obstruction, an article of impeachment based on obstruction.
Schiff looks like he took the bait and swallowed, well, a hook, and is grappling with Trump releasing the transcript. The latest witness against President Trump came forward to testify against the president, alleging he listened in on the call in the Situation Room with colleagues. As the transcript is in the public record, we are aware of what was said. So, if we are all aware of what was said, and Vindman isn't contesting any of it, what's the significance of his testimony? I was concerned by the call. I did not think it was proper to demand that a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen. Concerned. That's it. I didn't think it was proper. Sorry, Schiff, but you are going to have to do a lot better than that. And even if 1,000 people come forward, signing a letter together and submitting it to Congress, the fact of the matter is,
there's no impeachable offense. So what they're doing now is they admit the process is a sham, and they're actually changing the process for the worst. They're making Adam Schiff now the prosecutor, the judge and the jury.
One could argue that after President Trump made the unprecedented call to release the transcript of the phone call with the Ukraine president, the entire Democrat plan, which they for some reason continue to roll out, had been foiled. Not surprising, this whistleblower or blowers or whatever or whoever this mysterious source of Trump's malfeasance was, has mysteriously vanished, no longer needed by House Dems, claiming we are beyond whistleblowers. One could argue President Trump used this opportunity demonstratively to resolve his leaking problem.
Kept up his attacks on Democrats, defended his decision to keep them in the dark about the raid this weekend.
We were going to notify him last night, but we decided not to do that because Washington leaks like I've never seen before.
Accusing them of being so untrustworthy that they would put American lives at risk.
And Washington is a leaking machine. And I told my people we will not notify them until our great people are out.
To disrespect the Speaker of the House, they would not have leaked sensitive details.
We've been close to Baghdadi, and why did we lose him?
There were points in time when we were particularly close to him, and so that was a very good lead. Unfortunately, it was leaked in a prominent national newspaper about a week later, and that lead went dead.
Not much has been working for the Democrats as far as stumping Trump with their impeachment. They somehow think if they can get the jump on Horowitz's report and Durham's criminal investigation, they can have their impeachment process accuse the Trump administration of exactly the same thing in a classic made-for-TV doppelganger, whereby nobody can tell the good guys from the bad guys, or so they hope. Besides having the most laughable case against President Trump, the Dems apparently need help moving forward with their impeachment process. Who better to offer instructions than war hawk Rhino Lindsey Graham?
And when you're talking about removing the President of the United States, seems to me you'd want to have a process. If you believe you have a case against the President, vote to open up an inquiry. Allow Republicans to have a say. That's the way to do it. Allow Republicans to have a say.
You know, the same Lindsey Graham seen here in this photo with John McCain, Amy Klobuchar, and the former corrupt Ukrainian president, Poroshenko, the one instrumental in firing the prosecutor that was looking into Hunter Biden's corrupt financial dealings.
Oh, son of a bitch.
By the way, what is Amy Klobuchar doing there? Theoretically, if the Democrats could offer the rhinos what they want, then the impeachment could be bipartisan. And then the establishment can gang up on Trump.
I would like to make a statement that the House passed yesterday a resolution urging the President to change course. Urging the President to change course.
What's the line he crossed?
Saying that John McCain and people like him are not American heroes.
Don't put it past the establishment to take the opportune moment to stick a dagger in Trump's back. Not surprising, the mainstream media is siding with the Democrats' impeachment claims, helping them flank President Trump's administration's criminal investigation into the origin of the Russia collusion hoax.
As all that heat is getting turned up on the Trump White House, Donald Trump's handpicked Attorney General Bill Barr is making good on Donald Trump's demands, several of which are illegal.
The Democrats think they can somehow railroad the investigation by calling for Barr to recuse himself.
Their concerns very specifically is on whether or not Barr had knowledge of promises made by Trump. They say, quote, if he fails either to recuse himself or to resign, Mr. Barr should be subject to appropriate congressional sanctions, including possible removal from office.
Because this new criminal probe follows the arc of Trump demanding investigations into his rivals, real and perceived.
Apparently, a little fact slipped their scheme.
Well, let's go back to the beginning document, which you're completely briefed on the special counsel's investigation. You're completely briefed on the special counsel's investigation.
I've been fully briefed on the investigation. I've been fully briefed.
You see, when former Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself from the Russia collusion investigation, Matt Whitaker, who was Sessions' chief of staff, was privy to the entire Mueller investigation from beginning to end without redaction.
You know what's under the redactions, Mr. Whitaker?
I do, sir.
You do.
The special counsel's investigation, which Whitaker oversees, either before or after he took over the top spot at DOJ.
So we can see why the Dems were so pissed when Trump made Whitaker the acting attorney general rather than Rod Rosenstein prior to appointing Bill Barr.
At the time, multiple sources told CNN that the president talked with Whitaker about becoming acting deputy attorney general after revelations that Rosenstein suggested officials wear a wire to record the president as a way to oust him from office.
In court transcripts involving the investigation into the origins of the Russia collusion hoax dossier, it appears Durham has been conducting an investigation for over a year.
The importance there, again, of John Durham having the ability with a grand jury to bring in folks outside of the Department of Justice, outside of the FBI, which Michael Horowitz couldn't do and can't address in his report. John Durham will have the ability to bring in intelligence officials like John Brennan, like James Clapper, and explain why this, how this Russia Trump collusion, treason investigation got started.
Oops. It can be deduced that Whitaker, not Barr, appointed Durham, and there's no hiding his feelings about the special counsel's investigation.
Given his record of threats to undermine and weaken the Russia investigation, Matthew Whitaker should recuse himself from any involvement in Mueller's investigation.
And that might not be based on bias, because he's apparently the one who kicked off the investigation of the investigators.
We have the evidence. We've seen the Mueller report. We've seen the call transcript. We have the primary evidence, and it's very obvious to me as a former prosecutor, and it's very obvious to the Department of Justice, which has declined these cases, that there was no crime committed. And so the American people need to understand this is a complete waste of time. Waste of time.
So when the Dems have their Halloween vote, we can expect
completely partisan vote. Completely partisan vote.
The resolution is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
You'll never catch the Legion of Doom.
There's a reason we were deplatformed 14 months ago. And it's because InfoWars has been over the target with something like a 98% accuracy rate. We have laid out everything that's going on, and folks are really paying attention now. That means now is the time to support the InfoWar more than ever, and we're gonna take this thing over the top together. Everything must go super sale, ladies and gentlemen. This sale on some items on the site is the biggest sale we've ever offered. 40 to 70% off, store-wide. Many of these are at cost or below because we're offering free shipping on every order and double Patriot points. Take advantage of the Everything Must Go sale, and the funds that come in allow us to fund ourselves into next year and order new product for next year at InfoWarsStore.com. That's InfoWarsStore.com, and thank you for your support. Communist China quietly bought up Hollywood more than a decade ago, and they've been approving almost all the scripts that you see on television or in the movies for many years. And now they own our debt. Now they own the Democratic Party. Now they've merged with Silicon Valley to censor patriots off the air. The Washington Post comes out and says they hope that Xi Jinping, the dictator of China, will, quote, destroy Trump. That's a headline. So InfoWars has been the Paul Revere of this operation. We have blown the whistle continuously and have been proven right. And that's why it's more important than ever that we override Silicon Valley and their Chi-Com masters by word of mouth and spread the word about InfoWars, and check out InfoWarsStore.com. That's where the arsenal of our republic is being funded. That's where the tip of the spear is continually being forged, is InfoWarsStore.com.